Hello everybody and welcome to my very first Monster Spotlight. Today I'm going to be talking about a monster that I chose specifically for this first Monster Spotlight because she's a 2-star monster, very easy to get, has an SD, it's been around for the whole time I've been playing and very useful. He's become more useful actually with some of the newer updates, and I think it's probably the best 2-star monster. In my opinion, it's Colleen. We're going to be looking at Colleen today, the Fire Harpoo. Um, yeah, it is Harpoo, not Harpy. I don't know what exactly Harpoo is, but anyways, yeah, we're going to look at Colleen. And before I get going on that, freaking stupid piece of... By all means, go right ahead. Download the thing. I don't care. 20 minutes. I've been playing all day. 20 minutes, and they gotta do this update right now. Okay, we're back. Oh, look. Oh, hi, Reyna. You know what? Another 2-year-old looking character in this game. Okay. Okay, we're freaking back. Jeez, you know, it's been how many? It's been like over a year since they made a new freaking scenario thing. That's got to be in the 20 minutes I need to make this video. Alright, I don't remember what I was saying, but I think I was just starting off. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was a couple things that I'm going to go over in this first Monster Spotlight video, and probably not so much in future ones. Stuff that maybe needed to refer back to. So if you're not interested in that stuff, you can skip ahead a little bit and try to get to the actual Colleen material. But this is going to be a little bit different. First, look at my Pokeball. I just made this last night. It was a little bit of a pain because I picked this island because it was very round, but it actually, the size of it, like, it should have been bigger, I think, or the number of squares just wasn't right. Anyways, first thing I want to say is why I decided to do these. I was thinking for a while about doing a Monster Spotlight video, but I always just felt like, you know, there's people out there who are they're more qualified to do these videos. They're better. They've been playing longer. They, you know, probably paid money. I'm completely free to play, so my advance in the game has been slower than a lot of people who spent money on it. I have been playing for over 2 years, and I just didn't feel like I was the most qualified person, because even though I've been playing for that long, I'm kind of just like right on the brink of true end game status right now. Like, my Dragon Speed team is so freaking close. It is so freaking close to perfect. I can taste those freaking violent runes. I can taste them, man, because they are so close. It's literally one. I have, most of the time, it's one attack left before he dies. Sometimes I do win it. Sometimes it's maybe 2 or 3 attacks on the boss. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, you know, Giants is easy. Necro, I want to try and get it down to about 30 seconds right now. Everything else, you know, getting A pluses over here. Rift, I'm going to be getting into Rift 4, R4 soon, with a guildmate maybe this week, and hopefully once I get that under my belt, try for R5. I haven't done much Rift, but yeah, beating Tower of Ascension every month. Tower Ascension Hard will be my final project, not starting on that one yet. Another thing I felt like was, you know, I don't really do PvP at all. I don't like the PvP. A lot of people have said PvP is all there is to this game. I disagree. I don't do the PvP, so yeah, through a series of friggin', you know, vows and blood pacts, I have promised to myself that I would not do PvP. I do have some issues with the game that have recently just felt like a bigger problem than they did the previous 2 years I've been playing. This is a great game, and I always just felt like, it's a great game, it's got, you know, 3, 4, 5 little problems that I don't really like. But recently they just have really bugged me, and it all comes together in a freaking arena. So I don't do PvP. I don't really do. I just farm arena and Guild Wars. I'm a farming guild. So if you guys are looking for some pro PvP advice, this is the wrong channel. I will mention it just in passing whenever I do these monster spotlights, because obviously I'm not going to be picking like serious PvP monsters. Even the ones I have, like their runes are my second or third tier runes as far as quality goes, because I just don't need them to be that good. But anyways, so yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if I wanted to do these, but I haven't seen a lot of other people doing stuff like this, so I decided to just go ahead and do it, and if you guys can gain from it, then great. The next thing I want to get into is spend a little bit more time this video on how we are actually going to be looking at these monsters, because, you know, what makes a monster good? Like, you can go on the chat all day and people will be asking, oh, is this guy good, is this guy good? And the answer is always, like, potentially yes. If you take, like, god tier violent runes and, you know, violent revenge or violent blade or what's the other one, the speed nemesis or something like that, and you put them on anybody, they're gonna be good. Like, they just can't not be good with violent. There's, you know, I've told my guildmates, I've actually said this, and I was dead serious. I don't think it'll ever happen, but if I ever have a ton of violent runes, I'm just gonna take 4 slimes, max them out on damage, put 2 in each guild war with a speed leader like Galleon, and then 3 in arena with a speed leader, and just freaking watch people and see how many get killed by him, because they don't think that I have freaking violent runes on them, and they don't know that anyone can be good with violent runes, but they can. So when we talk about who's good, what are we really going to be saying? Because, you know, there's so many monsters you can look at, and there's a lot you can rune, and there's a lot of ones that are potentially good even in comparison to other monsters. So when I talk about it, what I'm going to look at is kind of like a cost-benefit analysis type of thing, where the benefit, I'm going to only break it into 2 parts. There's probably more you could discuss here, but for the sake of simplicity, 2 parts. The first one being just effectiveness, like, you know, what do their skills do? What's their kit? What's their skill set? You know, what does each skill do? How do they synergize or work together? Is there anything special or ways that it really fits into their role? Because, you know, there's a lot of utilities or supports you have here, you know, tank or damage. You know, what makes them unique or special with all of that, and how do they fill it out? Because that's what you really want to know, is what their role specifically is going to be. So that's effectiveness. The second part is going to be like variability. I'm calling it variability, but there may be a better way to describe it. It's going to be like, where can you use them? How many different ways can you use them? Or different places, different roles, or even different rune sets that give them different roles. Sometimes that works with different monsters too. So really, when we're talking about that, there's, you know, the rune dungeons. The 3 rune dungeons are very, very important. Then there's Tower of Ascension. There's Rift. And then, you know, farmers. I'm probably not going to talk much about farmers. There is PvP. Like I said, I won't mention too much about PvP. And so, yeah, those are the things that are really, really big in this game that you need to have strong teams for. So how many places can you use them? And we're going to kind of look at it almost like, you know, if you're investing money in something, you know, you want to look at the cost, but then what's your return? So the effectiveness is going to be like, how much, what is the return? What's the dollar value that you're going to get back? And then the variability would be, if you're going to get the same effectiveness in 2 places instead of 1, then you're going to make twice as much. If it's 3 places, you're going to make triple. So that's how that's going to work for the benefit that we're getting from it. For the cost is really going to be just the runes. I'm not considering 6-starring a monster to be a cost. If you don't have a good farmer, you should be 6-starring a farmer first, so you can, whenever you get double XP boost, you can get more 6 stars easily. Roic the Fire Inugami or Lapis the Water Magic Knight can do that for you. They're very easy to get early game. So 6-starring shouldn't be a cost. I don't think anything else, even like summoning, like if you say, oh, well, it's 5 stars, so, you know, that's more of a cost. You can't really directly invest in that. Like, even if you're spending a lot of resources to get legendary scrolls or other scrolls, you can't bet on it. You can't be like, oh, I'm trying to get a Sira right now. You're not going to get Sira. It's random chance. You know, every time I open a scroll, whatever it is, I hope it's a Sira. You know, it doesn't matter what, you know, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I always want that, but you can't specifically invest in it. So the only thing I'm considering in the cost is the runes, okay? The runes, unless you've got a ton of great runes just laying around, no one to put them on. I don't think anyone's in that situation. But if you are, that's the only time that wouldn't be a cost. Otherwise, you're always going to be either putting runes on that could be used on somebody else to make them very effective, or you're going to be poaching them from other monsters and leaving them with, empty slots like I have here, or you're going to be using like placeholder runes that are not as good, and they're hindering the effectiveness of that monster. So that's the cost. Those are the two benefits. With all of that said, let's go ahead and get started on Colleen. Let me get to her here. First of all, she is a 2-star monster. She does have a secret dungeon, and as far as 2-stars go, there's not really a ton of them that I think are used often in the game. I'm showing you a couple right now, 2-stars that people use a lot, but so she's kind of unique in that sense that she's a 2-star that people use end game. Her base stats are pretty good. You can see that her HP is pretty high. Her speed is pretty high, although Kona is pretty close. But yeah, I think she has real good stats for a 2-star. Actually, her HP is really quite good, and so is her defense and speed, and that's what you mostly care about on her. So her awakening is just giving her skill, no skill, no base stat improvements. So let's go ahead and look at her skills. Her first skill is Blackout Kick, performs Ruthless combo, kicking 2 times. That is important now that Necro is in the game. Kicks 2 times. Decreases their attack power for 2 turns with a 20, that's 70% chance. And skill ups are obviously really easy because she's 2-star. So we're just going to say it's always 70% chance, because you should be able to get them quickly. So this is really good. Lowers their attack power. Has 2 hits. That means you're getting that 70% twice, basically. Okay, so you'd have to miss. You have to get that 30% chance twice. Very rare if to have that happen. And obviously, if they're wind type, you're going to have an even better chance. Water type will be difficult. This is significant because Theomars, he is a very strong and very common DPS, so it's going to be hard to land that on him, which is a problem. And then second move, Deadly Darts, throw sharp feathers to prevent HP recovery for 2 turns. This one also attacks twice. They don't say it here. I don't know why, but it does attack twice also. That's very important. The chance is 100% because they don't say any number, so it should be 100%. 2 chances at 100%. Very good chance of blocking heals. Again, it's going to be hard on water types. In this case, the only one I guess would be Aerial. Well, it's still Theomars. Those are, he's one of the best, maybe the best healer in the game. Well, I say second best. I think Chasm's better. You can lower the turns there to 3 turns. Last skill is Fiery Dance. Recovers HP of all allies by 25%. And it increases their attack power for 3 turns. Can be used in 3 turns. That's really good. It also increases the healing is going to go up there by 6.25. Is that right? So it should be 31.25% of their health. So this is important. Let's talk about this for a second because it's percent healing rather than like Chasun over here is based on her, I think, attack power by 20 max HP. Sorry, your max HP and increase. Yeah, based on your max HP. I'm sorry. So that's going to be a number, a straight number. Okay, so if you go and heal somebody like Rakan, who's pure, you're going to build him pure HP pretty much with critical damage. Just go for HP. When you use that heal on him, it's going to heal him for less than it's going to heal a DPS like Lucian because he has very low health. It's going to probably top him off no matter what he's at. But Rakan, it won't do that. So on the other hand, you've got these percent-based heals here. They're going to heal everybody by 31.25%. It doesn't matter who they are. So if you have a tank like Rakan who's pure health, it's going to increase his health numerically by a lot because that 31.25% is a lot for him. But your DPSs and your anyone who's defense or just low health, it's not going to heal them as much numerically because their number on their health, the number that equates to the 31.25% is less for them. So I consider this, I actually prefer this because it keeps everyone even. Like, if you use this, everyone's going to go up by about 30%. You don't have to question like, I forgot how tanky, this guy might be, or that this guy was. You don't have to worry about that. It's always going to be the same amount. It's also good because in a lot of places you are using tanky monsters, so that's important. I prefer that rather than the number-based heals. So one more thing I want to say about her kit here. the first thing is that she has this combination of lowering attack power and lowering and blocking heals. So that's really important because we do have quite a few. Well, we have two important places: Necro and the Rift Beast that heal themselves off of their damage. Okay, so when they attack, based on how much damage they do, they're going to heal by a percentage of that. And anyone with vampire runes, but we're looking at mostly these two dungeons with her, and I'll talk about that later. But anyways, even if you can't keep this HP block on them, you'll probably means that you're going to have the attack reduction on them because she'll be using this move instead of this one. So they're always going to be healing by less, either by nothing or by much less because of this attack reduction. So that's very strong and makes her really effective in those dungeons specifically because she just cripples that entire mechanic of the bosses there. Another one here is the attack damage. If you're lowering their damage and increasing your damage, it's going to make a big deficit there on damage potential for you and the enemy. It's also good in arena, obviously, because it can even the odds out that way. So that's her kit, her skills, her effectiveness. Her build is pretty much always going to be violent, and I suggest the revenge because in Necro, anytime she gets revenge, she's going to hit twice, so that's pretty big. If he's only got 7 shots on his shield, it's really good. So you're always going to see her as via revenge. Some people have done speed. I went with pure HP and defense because speed isn't as good in Necro, and she's mainly on my Necro team. You can do speed there if you want, but I think HP is probably better. I'm also thinking about switching this to HP because unless you're using her front line in raids, which you can, defense is not going to be super helpful there. And because she heals off of percentage, I think it's actually better to have her with maximum HP as high as possible so that she can heal herself more as well. Okay, so we're done here with the effectiveness. That's her effectiveness. Where can we use her? We can use her, first of all, in Necro. I've already said this a couple of times. She is the most used monster in Necro. You can see right there, 18%. Pretty much just, yeah, everybody's using her. She's great here. Most used monster, even though she is support. So I really recommend her in Necro. If you don't have her already, you probably, if you're building a Necro team, you've already got her. If you don't and you're building a Necro team, definitely go for that because she can actually go in there and be your only healer if you have a strong team. And she's going to let you do more damage when you get that shield down because her damage buff lasts for 3 turns. She's also going to help you break it down a lot faster. Everything she does to attack hits twice, so it takes 2 shots off his heal with Via Revenge. That adds up to a lot, just her. And if you're using someone who attacks with others like a Tark or a Lisa, then whenever they attack with her, it's going to get those 2 extra hits in. Like I said, it also cripples his healing ability, and because it hits twice, it's got the 100% chance to block heals. As long as his shield's down and you use that, you're probably going to end up blocking his heals. So really strong there. A lot of people do use her in Rift. I don't think this lets us look at the percentages, but anyways, yeah, she's good in Rift, very strong in there because she can, yeah, block the heal and the attack damage again, gives that buff, and you're usually using some monsters, even if they're DPSs, they're going to be a little bit tanky in here because you just need them to survive all that damage. R5 is going to be dealing out a lot of damage, so a lot of people who build even DPSs for Rift will have some HP or defense on them. So having someone who heals percent based instead of numbers, flat numbers, is going to heal your team more. And here you can use her front line. I've seen people do that, heard of people doing that. I haven't tried it. Mine's not tanky enough to do that, I don't think. She's also great in the Wind Beast Rift dungeon because when you fully heal your monsters, it gets that debuff off of you and it damages him. So and she's fire type, so obviously that's perfect there. So that makes her really good here, and it's going to be able to heal your tanks faster in there as well. So that's the places you're going to want to use her. Obviously, Dark Beast is pretty much just a rip-off of Necro, so if you're using Necro, you can use with the Dark Beast. But those are not super important. She doesn't have any use for farming. I do use her sometimes in Tower of Ascension when remember when they had buffed Artemil, the light archangel, and then right after that they reset the Tower of Ascension and he was on like level 90 and a lot of people were having trouble with him. Um, I got up to like killing everyone on his team except for him and he just healed past everything because I didn't have any heal blocks. And my team's like not like a huge damage team. So I had to go switch Chastin out for Colleen and it was super easy. He just could never heal. So if you have a problem like that, Colleen can pretty much solve that problem. She screws healers up pretty bad. And with the arena and PvP, she is pretty good if you're dealing with healers, obviously, but it's also good that she can really take someone out as far as their damage goes with that attack reduction and boost the attack on your team. I used to use her on my fire team, but I switched her for Chloe most of the time now. So she can be, I don't know, you could use her in PvP, I guess, but maybe not too much. So that is her variability. One of the reasons I picked her is because she is so useful. She's very effective in a couple of places, and some of them, both of them are very new. You know, the Rift of Worlds and the Necro are some of the newest stuff that they've put out in the game. And so if you're still working on getting teams going, it's probably those teams. So with that being said, what else did I want to mention about her? I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. I didn't want to look at too much and suck up too much time on you guys, but yeah, she's very strong. Like I said, I think she's the best 2-star in the game, personally. Great for Necro, pretty good for Rift, depending on what you need, but definitely if you're going for a Necro team, just get a Colleen, max her out, and skill her up and put the Vile Revenge on her, and you should see a really big improvement on the survivability of your team, and also getting that shield down on the boss stage. So yeah, Colleen is probably the only 2-star that I really think is super necessary late game. The others you really can survive without. So if you have her right now, keep her. You can get her any point in the game, early, mid, late. She's useful in all of those. And so yeah, for next time, if you guys see any monsters in here that you want to see in the next monster spotlight, let me know. I will be picking one that I use a lot and that I know something about. So if there's any that you guys pick that I don't ever use, I probably won't be able to do a video on it. But if you pick somebody I've been using for a while, I can do that. So yeah, look through here, and if you want to see one in the next video, just leave it in the comments. So thank you for watching. This has been the first Monster Spotlight on Colleen. See you guys next time.